Welcome to the Bookers Alliance podcast, where we hold the pencil and the pencil is power. Coming at you right now is your host, Marky Mark, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Donaldson. Join us as we discuss the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling. So hang on tight, you jabronis, and enjoy the ride. Hey, welcome in, everybody. Pull yourself up a ringside seat, and we are on the go-home show for WrestleMania 39. This is the story so far, part 4, and we are ready and excited and just anticipation to the max. What you got, Frank?
Oh, nothing much. We're hours away from the big event, so I am on and popping. It is ready. We're ready to go over here right now. I am ready for this moment.
Yeah, it's always the granddaddy of them all, the spectacle.
That's Starrcade.
The granddaddy of them all?
That's Starrcade.
Oh,
yeah, that was a Starrcade started in 83.
Am I reliving WCW?
Yeah, that's the granddaddy of them all. That's Starrcade. Although
Man,
Vince and them took it.
Am I missing Dusty?
Probably. I mean, I think we're all missing that. Well,
I got
remember that Raw a couple weeks ago.
With a tear in my eye. Oh, that was even Rick. That was Rick.
But yeah, remember a couple weeks ago, Cody's not missing Dusty. He said if he hears that
done.
one more time, he's going to vomit. So
he is done.
Let's get off of that subject.
Yeah, let's
we don't want to lose. We don't want to
that.
lose our best listener. Shout out to Cody.
Yeah. So WrestleMania 39, the grandest stage of them all. There we go. So we're gonna wrap this up. This is our go home show, as we said, and so we're gonna kick off today's podcast talking about Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul, or as we used to call him, he who shall not be named.
Yeah, there you go.
And
there you go.
We didn't really like Logan, did we?
No, I mean, before I saw him wrestle, just his online personality and all that, ugh.
Yeah.
Just ugh. I mean, he's, him, his brother, that whole deal, the impulsive show and all of that was just, for me, it was just corny as could be. I mean, I'd watched an episode of it, like, ugh, but I mean, I got to admit, when that guy got in the ring, you could tell he put the time in. I mean, you got to give it to him and his brother. They're both athletic as hell. I mean, they put the work in. They're not just some YouTubers that come in here and kind of jackass their way through this. Like the old Jackass show. They're putting the work in for their their chosen craft or whatever. They just so happen to be really popular on the internet doing it. So
yeah, no, I'll give credit where credit's due. I mean, like you said, his in-ring performance has kind of swung me around on my opinion of him. I mean, granted, I'm not going to speak bad about the guy, but at the same time, he had a reputation that preceded him.
Yeah.
And all of us kind of were like, and who is this guy coming in? What is this all about? And then, my God, the athleticism that he's put on, dude, he can carry himself on the mic. I mean, he's pretty legitimate in there so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, he legitimized the YouTuber. I mean, and they started him out right because they put him with The Miz, another reality TV guy who made the transition. So, they had something in common. I'm sure Miz really helped him along in that adjustment process. And I mean, he just skyrocketed from there. He wrestled the tag match at Mania last year, wrestled Miz, and next thing you know, he was wrestling Roman Reigns overseas. So, I mean...
Yeah, who would have thought that?
God only knows. But, again, they're doing the right thing. They're keeping him with guys that can help him along in the ring, especially here at Mania. Now he's in there with Seth Rollins. Seth is going to be able to cover for any mistakes that he might make. Seth can carry that match. Seth could probably have that match all by himself if he had to, but the fact that Logan Paul is athletic and just, uber over right now, he's going to be able to make a really good looking match, and Seth's just going to make him look like $1 million.
Yep. So the storyline that they're taking into WrestleMania is, Logan's the outsider coming in as far as, he's still green according to the story. And Seth is taking it from the approach of, hey, you don't belong here. Or as Bianca says, you don't even go here.
You don't go here. For a minute there, you were misleading me. I thought you were talking about AEW because you were saying the outsider,
the outsider
instead of outcast. Yeah. And then you went to Creed. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. What the hell is he talking about here? But okay, yeah, so I'm on the same page. But yeah, I mean, this is Logan Paul's world. He shouldn't belong, and he damn sure shouldn't be as good as he is. I mean, let's be honest. But the fact that he's working behind the scenes with Shawn Michaels lets me know if he's athletic enough, nobody could teach him better how to show up in these big time matches than Shawn. So
yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at him at this current point. I'm looking at him like Pat McAfee. I mean, Pat came in, Pat hustled. I mean, he
was loyal.
He was loyal. And he had respect. So hey,
you know what that leads you to.
That's right, Super Cena.
There you go.
But I think with Logan, he's kind of gotten there as far as, I don't want to say main event player, but he's definitely up on the card. But
he's an attraction.
He's an attraction. I mean, he's like a Pat McAfee.
Yeah. He's never going to be a full time guy, but he's definitely attraction. I mean, he's got millions and millions of YouTube viewers. He's got just about as many YouTube viewers as we got followers on this show. So I mean, that means he's big time.
Big time.
But and he got himself a WrestleMania slot, But again, his athleticism helps. Honestly, I think he's better than Pat McAfee. I mean, as a whole, because he's younger.
Right.
He's more athletic. I mean, Pat was an NFL guy, but he can't do all that crazy stuff that Logan Paul does. I mean, not many people can. So
yeah, but I think the style between Seth and Logan, I think the styles are going to definitely match up pretty well in this match.
There won't be a styles clash, so AJ doesn't have to worry about the.
Man, we are banging the play.
Oh yeah, the last show before Mania,
banger after
banger, whatever
after
you
banger.
Haven't gotten in at this point, you got to get it in now.
That's right. But I think this may be the show stealer.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be the show.
Those guys are aiming for that anyway. Yep. I mean, again, Shawn's trading Logan Paul. Let's be honest, look, peek behind the curtain and all that. Good well, these guys are working that match and, at every free moment, every availability they got, they're running that match. So I'm envisioning Seth and Logan in a ring with Shawn Michaels, probably a couple other guys in there, and they're just working through the whole match. Not like the Young Bucks would work through it, where it's going to be a spot fest. But
yeah, I think this is going to come down to the spot. What is the spot that we all walk away from talking about? I mean, he had the spot against Roman where he had the freaking cell phone.
Yeah, took a selfie while he took a splash on the to the floor. I mean, my goodness, you never seen anything like that. That was creative. It was. Yep. It was who he is, again, a YouTube sensation, a YouTube personality, and he literally took his platform right to YouTube.
Yep.
They probably got, 1 billion views out of that. I mean, I even went back and looked at it because it was spectacular.
Right. And I think also not only their match, but I think their entrances are going to steal the show as well. You've got Seth and Logan are both eccentric as all get out.
Yeah.
So I think it's just over the moon, over the top.
Oh, of course.
Ooh, over the top. That's a
over the top.
Sylvester Stallone.
There we go. Sylvester Stallone, arm wrestling movie. Bring it in. All right. There's some wrestlers in there. And what else can we get into this show here? Anybody thinking about No Holds Barred now?
Oh, speaking of that,
here we go.
Side note, have you seen the DLC pack for Pack 1 for the WWE 2K23?
So I had. You mean the Zeus pack?
The Zeus pack.
No, it's not called the Zeus pack. It's something else that Zeus got packaged into. But hey, we're getting Debo in the video game.
Right.
I mean, my God. First thing I'm doing is I'm going in there finding his flannel and his old Dickie pants and all. Oh yeah, Debo's go be in the house.
If they can get me a bicycle in there,
absolutely.
Good.
That's his interest.
That's right.
Gotta have that for his interest. Speaking of interests, though, what you were talking about, Logan Paul. I mean, do you think he gets his brother involved? Do you think we get a Jake Paul sighting at WrestleMania?
I think they might be trying to keep them separate.
Maybe. I mean, he was accompanying him down.
He was there for Crown Jewel, but I think I don't know if they're wanting to keep him heel, then yeah, because I think everybody saw Jake Paul get that chip knocked off his shoulder in that last fight that he was in, so they may be working on some heat angles that way if they want to bring him down, but. I don't know.
Logan Paul's a heat bag that is, but that damn Jake Paul, I mean, hell, he's universally hated. So I mean, if you want to go over the top heel, you bring that guy in, and they'll boo both of them out of the building. So good Lord.
So that's going to be as we say, I think that's going to be the show stealer.
Yeah,
but
it's going to be a banger.
It will be a banger. So let's move on though to unfortunately, a match we don't know much about yet.
Oh no, Omos and Brock Lesnar again.
No, we squashed that one already.
Oof,
the squash is the appropriate term.
Oh my goodness, I thought you were going to make me revisit that again. I was
so
over here taking a drink to get through it.
This is the women's 4-way, of which we only know one team.
Hey, this is a PG show,
family show. So not that 4-way, okay. The other 4-way.
Oh, okay.
The other 4-way.
My goodness, can you announce that different or something?
The fatal 4-way. Does that help?
No, the same thing for me. I mean,
tag team turmoil.
Okay, yeah, there we go. There we go. Now we're safe.
Man, you made me go through my wrestling terms. Yeah. Jesus,
because I started thinking about a WWE women's wrestling fatal 4-way, and I was like, man, I'm gonna be the one that dies out of that.
So you were gonna referee that?
Yeah, I figured I'd be the fatality out of it. I'm like, man, boy, them girls will kill me.
So the only team that we know at this point is Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez.
See that Liv Morgan? I mean, fatal 4-way. I mean, that was my bad.
Back to the match.
Right, back to the match. Back to the match.
Back to reality.
That's who we know. But who else do we think is going to be in it? I mean,
I was thinking maybe Carmella and Chelsea Green.
Be a good little tag team. I read something today that Carmella was injured again, though, so I don't know how.
Maybe I haven't read that, but yeah,
I was thinking probably Ronda and Shayna Baszler. I know Ronda's still sporting an injury, but
yeah,
in a 8-person tag, you can really cover up an injury pretty good. If there's a way to do it, but I just don't feel like you have Ronda Rousey in the league right now, and you don't get her out there for some kind of appearance at WrestleMania.
True. Natty, she may be in there.
Who would she team up with?
I mean, she's been teaming with Tegan Knox here recently.
Oh, well, there you go. That might not be a bad way. What about Shotzi? Is Shotzi in some kind of tag team or something?
Shotzi was in there with Tegan at one point too. So sounds like Tegan is doing the round robin with tag partners.
All right, Tegan, get him, girl.
So I don't know who else is going to be in this match. I hope they make it interesting. It is WrestleMania. And if you go back to the archives, though, and listen to Frank's experience from WrestleMania 22, some of these matches may not live up to the hype.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, again, they all, everybody talks about it. There's got to be that let me up match. I mean, you're going to go through 2 nights of this. Probably both nights are going to be 4 hours. You're going to need some let me up. And I mean, let's be honest, there's no storyline built into this match. This is going to be that let me up match that everybody's going to be, bathroom break time. Unfortunately so. I mean, that the women have been in that position for many, many years. At some point or another, they used to only be in that position where they were the bathroom match or the let me up match, popcorn match, some people call it. They've developed from there, but I mean, this match has no storyline going into it, so I feel like the interest is going to be right in there with it.
It came out of the blue.
Yeah, if you ain't watching for the outfits or the participants just for them, there's no storyline that you're invested in. So
yeah, so we'll have to see where that one goes, what becomes of that. Maybe there's some type of a swerve. Maybe the fact that 3 of the teams haven't been announced yet. Maybe we get some surprise teams. Maybe the Iconics.
Get some so Cassie Lee's fresh off of having a baby, so she should not be participating in that.
Becky Lynch came back pretty quick.
Yeah, for her 30-second match. So I guess the Iconics could roll in there, do their little pose, and then the other would take a pin. That could work. Yeah. I definitely wouldn't complain about seeing those 2 Aussies in there. My goodness.
So I mean, you never know what's gonna happen. Maybe we'll get some surprises, some swerves. You never know.
Swerve's coming?
Swerve? Yeah.
Swerve? No.
Hey, if he brings Keith Lee, come on.
Oh, hell, Keith Lee. Good Lord. First of all, them 2 don't need to tag again. That's over, huh? Yeah, that experiment happened. Rick Ross got him in trouble. Yeah, they need to just go ahead and let that be.
All right, so we'll let that be, honestly, and we'll move on to the next match. The men's 4-way. No.
So
doesn't hit the same way.
It kind of does. It kind of is the same match for me. There's
the
still
men's
no
tag team turmoil.
Yeah. Well, call it whatever you want.
So with this match, we have Braun and Ricochet, whatever their team name is.
Ricochet.
Ricochet.
Yeah, Ricochet.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Ricochet. There you go.
The Viking Raiders, Alpha Academy, and Street Profits.
Nope.
Just a quick nope.
I hope the Street Profits win. I like them.
Street Profits.
Their gimmick's kind of worn now. I mean, I feel like they're inevitably on their way to a split because it seems like at this point now they're ready to put the rocket on Montez's back and, elevate him to that Bianca Belair level. It feels like that's where they're going with it, and I'm there for it. I mean, I'm all there for it. Unfortunately, I don't know where that leaves Dawkins. I like Dawkins. I like them two as a unit. But all units ain't going to stay together. New Day always talks about how they fought hard to stay together and all that. But they found a way to get championships out of that. They got multiple tag champions, and Kofi and Big E both got their hands on the world title. I don't know if the Street Profits can do that because Dawkins ain't going to get there. He's just not going to be a world title contender. And I don't know why. I mean, there's a lot of intangibles as to...
I honestly think it's because of the shadow that Montez is casting.
Yeah, I mean, that could be. So, maybe if they split up, they have to go to different shows. They got to get as far away from each other as possible for both of them to shine. But
even Christian wound up winning a world title eventually.
Yeah, but Edge had to kill himself to do it. I mean, Edge literally had to break his neck and retire for Christian to get that. And even that creepy little bastard found a way to get a championship. Oof.
Yeah, so speaking of teams that may be on their way to splitting up, Alpha Academy.
Who?
Alpha Academy.
Alpha Academy. Yeah. Well, they need to find a way to get that Jason Jordan back to team with Chad Gable because I mean them two as a team was amazing, but there's so much other stuff I want to see Otis get into. I think we mentioned not too long ago Otis and Bronson Reed. They had like a stare down on Raw one day, and I mean, as soon as I saw it, I said, good Lord. I remember the old Gorilla Monsoon adage of the immovable force meeting the irresistible force meeting the immovable object. And I mean, those two guys, they're the epitome of that. Gorilla would roll over in his grave if he saw those two looking at each other.
Unfortunately, Otis has gotten cast in that comedy role, and he can't get out of it. It just keeps continuing, and I'm with you. I'm pulling for Otis just to be this just unstoppable monster.
He's the current day King Kong Bundy. I mean, he could be the condominium with legs, as Jesse the Body used to call him. He could be that guy, but he could be so dominant. I mean, and that's where, so in that same vein, I think we talked about it off air, but Bronson Reed, he's walking down that Bam Bam Bigelow territory. Bam Bigelow,
absolutely.
And back in the day, you had the Bam Bam versus King Kong Bundy matches. You had the Bam Bam versus One Man Gang matches. You had those matches. So getting those two guys together to do that would be amazing. I feel like at some point you have to do it, but yeah, like you said, they got Otis in this male models role now, and I ain't mad at him for wanting to be around the girl that runs around with the male models.
Miss Maxine Dupree.
Yeah, there you go. I ain't mad at him for that. I mean, if Mandy got fired, he really can't get his peach back. So hey, you might as well move on over to an apple. So got to get something tasty.
But we
Otis got to eat.
We see the potential in Otis, but have you paid attention to the past two single matches that Gable's had?
Nope.
I mean, dude.
They have too much stuff going on the background.
Y'all are sleeping on Chad Gable. I'm telling you.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. Now, Chad Gable in the ring, I mean, he's the second coming of Kurt Angle. I mean,
he is. He's Kurt Angle, but they need to turn the intensity up to 11. Yeah, they got to just push that forward and let him go.
So I think the same thing that Vince saw when he looked at Gable, I feel like Triple H sees the same thing in that he's just small. I mean,
they're missing it, man.
But they definitely are. So maybe it's not all them either. I mean, because they gave Kurt Angle a lot of crazy, funny, gimmicky ridiculousness, but Kurt was also able to volley off of Steve Austin when he had that.
Right.
So, if you're already elevated to that level, it really don't matter what you're doing. It just happened to be that it was hilariously funny. Maybe it's Chad that he's not as funny as Kurt. Maybe he can't carry it over the same way, which hurts. But I mean,
I'm really hoping they push him and he succeeds in. I would love to see if Theory goes over somehow, some way. If Theory goes over on Cena, and we get Theory coming out of Raw.
That was my pick. That's a good pick.
He comes out of WrestleMania as the U.S. champion. Dude, sign me up. Gable versus Theory for the U.S. belt. I'd watch that all day long.
Yeah, you got to start. I feel like after Mania, they always get a reset. I feel like this is going to be, I think you mentioned it a couple of episodes ago, that this is Triple H's, clean slate.
Yep.
At this point now, although it's still not a complete clean slate because they still got to clean up that whole unified titles mess. I mean,
he's working on it.
That's the mess that Vince left. That's like the baby that you run out on when you're a deadbeat dad. You run out on that. That's like the baby that Vince ran out on. He's like, I done created this mess and I can't figure my way. I'm out.
I believe the end of night 2 of WrestleMania and the Raw after Mania, I think that's where that will all finally get cleaned up.
Well, that's because you think Cody's going to win the belt.
I do.
But as you know, we disagree.
So, we'll see what happens. And then Viking Raiders.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. If I say War Machine, does that help? Because that's where they should be. See, y'all sleeping on them too. I'm telling you. Those are some teams. Alpha Academy.
Is that Ivan and Iraq? Or what are their names or something like that? I mean, something like that. Yeah.
So when they were on the independent scene as War Machine, them dudes were the second coming of the Road Warriors. They had that clout about them.
Oh.
The savage just beat you down, did not care what you were in front of you. They were just going to stomp you in the ground no matter what.
My goodness.
So I really wish they would allow them just to be that. Unfortunately, they've saddled them into this, and in my viewpoint, this hokey Viking gimmick.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's Vince too.
Yeah. But so apparently, though, that's their actual lifestyle,
right, and that's their heritage,
and that's what they came into the gimmick with. So I mean, I feel like Vince just kind of leaned into, we're not going to be able to do anything else with these guys, so let's just maximize what we got. And so it seems like they like it, but is it translating over to the masses? Is what I would be questioning of. But yeah, they're so typecast now they couldn't get out of it. I mean, the only way they could get out of it is to leave and come back and completely reinvent themselves.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and granted, you got to go along with what you got to do, and as the old saying goes, you got to make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Oh yeah,
you got to figure it out.
Yeah,
and they're doing the best they can, and I applaud them for it. And if that's some of their choice too, hey, all right, cool.
Yeah,
it's just some of these guys. What we saw of them outside of WWE before WWE has to create everything in their image.
Yeah.
That sometimes what was out there before is better than current day.
Yeah. But so WWE, they can't market that.
Right.
They can't capitalize on someone else's success. They're kind of stuck. Although you mentioned something earlier about the modern day Road Warriors, and man, I read something today, and I didn't even drop this one on you, but I mean, when I read it, I was just floored by it. But rumor has it, I mean, this is definitely rumored innuendo, but it's hot, so y'all can pay attention. Rumor has it that Bobby Lashley pitched being a tag team with Brock Lesnar coming out of Mania because, they didn't know what they were going to do with those two guys. And I mean, my God, could you imagine those two as a tag team?
That's like the Brothers of Destruction 2.0. Nobody could stand up against
Bobby Lashley actually said when he was pitching it, he said where they would be the new and updated Road Warriors. Because, I mean, they would be. They'd be the most dominant team ever. It would make a lot of guys like Viking Raiders and teams like that, it would give them a platform to step up to. Because they could bang in there with guys like Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, but at the end, they would have to lay them shoulders down because them two could they lose?
No.
Realistically, I mean, who do you bring in for them to lose? Like Alistair Overeem and Mike Tyson or something? I mean, God.
Yeah, those are two big old hosses.
Yeah. We've already said those are our Avengers. If we ever get invaded, we're sending them two guys out first. The rest of them will figure it out.
That's Alpha A and Alpha B.
Basically, yeah. And fill in the blank on which one is which. We're not ranking either one of them ahead of the other one.
So the only other thing that we wanted to wrap up here on the Go Home show, unfortunately, Bray Wyatt. There's some controversy swirling around Bray.
Builds right off of that story we were just talking about. I mean, the idea going into Mania was we were going to have, Bray at the last pay-per-view, Bray Wyatt sent the challenge out to the winner. The winner ended up being Lashley. They played into it a little bit. They had the Uncle Howdy thing and all that. Then all of a sudden it just got completely dropped. Like it's gone. And Rumor has it that Bray may be injured. Rumor had it that Bobby might not have been into it. The fact that Brock and Omos are wrestling each other, I'm really leaning into what Bobby's idea was. I feel like he had gold hitting. I don't know what the hell they got now, but it's unfortunate. If we don't get a Bray Wyatt sighting at all at Mania for any other reason than injury, it's a fumble on everybody's part involved.
Yeah, and it's, dude, I've not been. So let's do this. They always say there's two sides to every coin.
Yep.
So I have been so pleased and so enamored with the story of the Bloodline.
Yep.
It has just been so fantastic. Flip that coin. I'm so disgusted with everything that has happened with Bray's storyline.
Yeah.
I mean, the build up to him coming back was magical.
Yep.
I was the one chasing every QR code.
Yep.
I was following the rabbit down the hole.
Oh, yeah.
I was salivating. I was like, give me my next clue. What's going on? I loved every minute of it. And then he made his return. I was like, oh my God, that's so freaking awesome. And then it just rolled downhill like shit going down the toilet.
So yeah, kind of. So let me ask you, and the pure speculation, but the whole idea when he left the first go round was Vince said that they were just at a creative impasse with each other. They just couldn't come to an agreement on creative. The word around town was Triple H was going to give Bray Wyatt more creative authority over his gimmick, in the return. So the fact that it's, essentially flopping for one reason or another right now, is that because they let Bray have too much control and he led it down the wrong path? Or do you think that WWE is still putting their hands in it too much, that they're bastardizing what his creation is? What's the reasoning behind this?
I think, honestly, the answer to that is, unfortunately, a non-answer. It could be meat, it could be cheese. I don't think we're ever going to know. I think maybe a telltale sign, though, is, there's stuff coming out this week about they fired the writer that was supposedly over his story or whatever was going on. So, it could be a lot of different things. I think the one thing that I have noticed about Bray's creative as hell. That dude has an amazing mind for storytelling. But does his version of storytelling fit in with modern day wrestling?
Exactly. And let me give you a point besides somebody else that, Eric, as you were saying it again, I was kind of confused to who you were talking about. Vince Russo.
Yeah.
That's the exact same thing everybody said about him. Creative as hell, but he needed that filter of Vince McMahon back in the Attitude Era to take that jumbled up pile of dog crap that he gave him and said, here's all this shit in the world. Throw it all up against the wall and see what sticks. Well, Vince was able to pick through that and say, we don't have to waste the time throwing it against the wall. This is good. This is good. This is good. Let's build on it, and then take it back to the team and they blow it out into an idea. Maybe that's what they were trying to do with Bray the first time and he disagreed with it. Or maybe, it was the other way around. Maybe they had no idea what to do with him and Bray wasn't willing to just go out there and execute a pile of shit.
Yeah.
Either way it goes, the point of it is the wonder, the awe, everything was there on his return. And now we're one match in, a few vignettes, on our way into our second feud, and not only is it not happening, clearly, because we haven't had any lead in unless they're going to rescue it, at the last SmackDown before the event. We haven't had any build up, any lead in. So essentially it's off, but nobody cares.
Yeah.
We're talking about it right now because we care about A, that character, B, we care about Bobby Lashley. We both liked him. He liked his run as champion. So we want those two guys involved, but nobody else does. Listen to any of the other podcasts out there. Nobody else is talking about the match. Nobody else is even bringing him up.
Yep.
Short of an occasional mention here about maybe he's injured. That's really all they got.
So I'm gonna go out online and then we'll kind of wrap this up though. But I'm gonna go out on the limb here and say that I think his willingness to do something different. He's the type of guy, Bray is, that he's not afraid to try something cool. We've seen some interviews of him saying that, like, hey, I'm not going to pass up the opportunity. If they want me to try something new, I'll try it.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Well, he thought that about that Mountain Dew match.
So that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. So I think that being his first match back screwed his whole comeback up.
Yeah. It didn't do him any favors.
No, and I will
sure they sold a lot of
die on that hill.
What is it? Endorsements. I'm sure they sold a lot of endorsements. I'm sure Mountain Dew paid a butt ton of money for it, but it didn't do him any favors.
No, but on the other end of the spectrum, the storyline, or not storyline, but the dirt sheets, they're also saying dude's hurt. I mean, he could be hurt, and if that's the case, we'll stop all the shit talking about Bray and say, dude, get well fast. We want to see you back.
Absolutely.
If it's hurt, dude, we wish you all the best in coming back and be healthy.
Let's be honest. If it's hurt, that might have done him a favor.
Yeah, it might have. It gives him a chance to come back and reset.
Yeah, because the storyline that they were building with him and Bobby wasn't about to be earth shattering. That's for sure. It wasn't. It wasn't going to take it. It was going to take away from one of them because one of them had to lose, and at this point, neither one of them needed to lose.
Right.
Bobby's coming off of a victorious program with Brock Lesnar. The first thing he doesn't need to do after beating Brock Lesnar is lose. I mean, and if Bray loses right away, well, the bloom's off the rose at this point. So it probably didn't hurt either one of them not to end up in that match together. So, maybe at a smaller event like Backlash or something, it wouldn't be such a big stage. It really wouldn't kill either guy to take a loss. WrestleMania kind of would have, though, because it sets your trajectory for the next year. So, yeah, it may not have been a bad thing either way. Plus, I mean, I was excited to see that match, and it kind of looked like the Omos and Brock Lesnar match. It has that same appeal to me of, it ain't going to be pretty, but it was going to be hard hitting as hell, but it wasn't going to be pretty, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, with that, everybody, that is our wrap up. That's our go home. And all I can say is it's WrestleMania season.
Oh, yeah. SoFi Stadium is lit up, ready to go. I mean, we should be seeing the stage here anytime soon. Once you see the stage, that's it.
Oh, it's on.
You're in WrestleMania season. So Hall of Fame's happening a little bit later. So, we're gearing up for that. We're going to do a recap on that after the event because, we don't want to, there's no speculation on it. I just want to see it, enjoy the pageantry of it, and enjoy talking about it after.
Absolutely. So, all right, that's you've listened to all 4 parts. We appreciate you listening and taking in our thoughts and opinions. But hey, you can feel free to participate in this discussion too. Hit us up on our social media. We're out there. Hit us up. We'll answer any questions or hear your feedback. Always interested to see what you got to say.
There you go. Give us your picks. I mean, we laid out all our picks here. We put our cards on the table. Lay your cards out on the table. Tell us who you think's going to win these matches. But don't just give us a who. Tell us a why. Give us the reasoning behind it. We want to hear your stories too.
All right. Everybody, thank you. And with that, we bid you adieu.
WrestleMania!
Today's podcast was produced by SBP. You can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. Also connect with us on our social media accounts. Search for The Bookers Alliance on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.